All right, welcome back to Crypto Front. This is the front line where we are fighting together side by side for financial freedom. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Jasmi price chart here, because we actually have got a few good things happening here for Jasmi. And earlier today, we're receiving news from Binance that, they didn't say they were not delisting Jasmi, but conclusively, we can see that they are not going to be delisting Jasmi because they announced a list of tokens that they were going to be delisting after that vote to delist vote that they do. But Jasmi is not part of it for the second time in a row now. It actually be very crazy and silly if they actually go for the third round and put Jasmi on top along with Zcash and a bunch of other altcoins. That would really just be, at that point, it's just a clear manipulation of the price. But even from a chart perspective, we've got a few things that we can look forward to here for Jasmi. Yes, of course, we are still sitting under a resistance, but one of the things that you want to do is to say, okay, are there any signs of weakness as we are under resistance that are going to be pointing to the fact that, you can get a massive rejection towards the downside here. But I have to say that, honestly speaking, I'm trying to look at this and I can't find those weak signs, right? So let me just share with you what I have got today. But before I get there, I want to kindly ask you to help me spread the video by delicately tapping the like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm, and people looking for Jasmine content will now be able to find this video much more easily. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, because I do TA on Jasmi and a number of other different altcoins on a regular basis. Let's get right into it. So first, we're actually seeing that, yes, we are testing that resistance, but we have had also another trend towards the downside here, which has been back tested, as we are seeing that we just came back here, kissed it. Now we're pushing for a higher than, maybe I would say here 1.75 cents for Jasmi. That will actually just be confirming that probably this was here the bottom for Jasmine. That's pretty cool, right? Now, one of the things that we've actually been doing time and again is to refer to the 50-daily moving average, and I won't mention it much today, but I have to say that, look, if you go back to the history of Jasmine, this has been a historic support. Let me just show you maybe one example, because I can't just go without giving an example. Maybe somebody's seeing this for the first time, but for regulars, I'm very sure that they are tired of this whole thing. So this has been historically a point of support that can slingshot the Jasmine price towards the upside. So we have that also in our bag. Then we're also taking a look at the RSI itself and trying to look at the behavior in the life cycle of Jasmine. How is this thing actually been reacting to movements on the price? So what we notice is that the turning points, the main turning points for Jasmine, like massive rejections as this one, have also come with a big rejection on the RSI. Also in that overbought territory, as you can also see with this one here, pretty much the same thing. This right here also still very much the same thing. Then we can go as far back as 2022, 2023, and we see pretty much the same phenomenon right there. So I think it's very much clear for everybody to see. Now, how does that actually relate to where the price is sitting for Jasmi at this point? We see that, number one, Jasmi is not yet in overbought territory. I think because of that, it's unlikely to expect a rejection to show up right here. Now, another person can come up and say that, the price actually failing to get into the overbought territory here is a telltale sign to say that, you're going to get a massive rejection. However, if you also take a look at the RSI here, you can see that it has actually turned before it even reached 50. And it's trying to push once again towards the upside. So we'll see how this whole thing progresses. But on a scale of what is likely to happen, I think that we have to see the price at least get back into that overbought territory first if we're going to be expecting some kind of a rejection. Yes. So remember, the thing that we have here is that we have got a resistance for Jasmi. So we're trying to see if we're going to get a rejection or we're going to be breaking above that resistance. But so far, I think all the indicators are pointing towards, the fact that we can actually be pushing towards the upside. Now, one of the things that you want to do if you're looking at the price and looking for signs and things to come for the price, you want to see confluence, right? What has actually happened in the past? What were the conditions that were there? Now, I've just been mentioning the RSI, but I've also talked about the 50-daily moving average. I'm really sorry if you're watching this video for the very first time, because I'm not going to be talking about the 50-daily moving average, because I've just been shouting about it for a very long time, and the regulars are just going to be switching off this video totally. But I just want to illustrate that, you see, when we have crossed the 50-daily moving average, this is the moments that we have actually had these positive moments for Jasmine. You can also see it right here. You can also see it right here as well. But I've mentioned confluence, which is what were the other things that were there that were corresponding with the 50-daily moving average. And again, it's that RSI, which you can see right here. You can also see here. Then we have that thing missing right now. So that tells me that Jasmi still has got, a little bit of more juice to pump towards the upside. Now, this is just very simple things that we can take a look at. We also have realized that Jasmi pretty much moves in tandem with the Bitcoin price. And as you can see here, this is Jasmi down in blue, I would guess. I'm really colorblind, so I'm not really sure what color that is, but this is the Jasmy price down below here. Then we've got the Bitcoin price, which you can see I'm moving here. And take a look at these charts. They're very much in tandem, right? So what we want to see here is for the Bitcoin price to remain healthy, to give Jasmy a chance to go ahead and outperform BTC. I mean, in the last cycle, I'm saying the last cycle, but when we had like very much positive price action, Jasmy actually moved 20x from its bottom, and BTC I think moved 6-7x. So I mean, you get the deal right there. Now coming back to BTC, we can see that BTC itself has already broken above its downtrend here. Not only that, it also managed to break above its horizontal resistance. So that will be the same thing that we're anticipating Jasmy here to do. And as long as BTC remains healthy, I really don't have much to say about BTC at this point, but this is not looking bad, honestly. I mean, unless if we start maybe doing something like, this all of a sudden the picture gets a little bit, unclear. But for now, there's nothing like overly shouting bearish. It's one of those indicators we've always needed here for Jasmy to do a fantastic job. Now of course I'm coming to you and saying, oh yeah, Jasmy is looking bullish. Okay, we don't have weakness signs. Actually we have got positive signs left, right and center, but I also want to be putting my money exactly where my mouth is. And a few days ago when I was seeing some bullish signs here for Jasmy, I went on to open a long position, and the baseline was that moving average, the 50 daily moving average, saying that look, as long as we get closer to that, I'm just going to be adding to my trade. So initially I was actually at 3x, but I got more confident and I said, you know what, let's scale this thing up to something like a 10x. And you can see right now we are sitting right around 200%. I think that's good. The best is yet to come in my opinion, and I hope we'll make it. If you actually want to be trading Jasmy and other tokens here, you can feel free to join our trading group via Discord. The link is going to be somewhere there in the description. We are holding currently some of the trades here like GPS. I think this actually has been closed in a profit, and XRP is still holding. We've got Eigenlayer still holding once again, Gala holding very much strongly, Jasmy still holding, and HBAR is no longer actually miners. I think it's now up 30% or something like that. So we'll see how those ones actually eventually play out. But the big hits that have been closed this week is Telcoin with 400%, and we also had GPS that I mentioned a little bit earlier on, that this had been closed above something like 326%. That's good. And Popcat with 100%, that's pretty much decent. But of course, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. We also had a trade which was completely liquidated here with Zebek. So it is what it is. You're always not going to be winning, and we have to strike a balance to say, okay, if you're winning 400%, yeah, you can afford to lose a trade and still remain very much profitable. Once again, if you're really serious about it, consider joining. And if you're also somebody who probably doesn't know much, there is this technical analysis toolkit that is for you, and it's part of the Patreon membership. So there is no extra cost for this one. I mean, if you want to be just buying the course alone, it's going to be unnecessarily expensive. But if you're going to be a Patreon member, you can have all this benefits. We only have got 9 slots remaining. That's why I was saying that if you are actually serious, because if you're not serious, you're going to be taking somebody's space here, and that's not going to be too good, right? That's pretty much it today. I'll come in tomorrow, and we can probably be looking at how high we can expect the Jasmy price to go. Hopefully by then we are just above resistance, and we're looking on the path towards the price targets here for Jasmy. But for now, just as I've been saying, yes, we are below resistance right at this point, and I'm really trying hard to find if there are any weaknesses or something like that. But the honest conclusion that I'm coming towards is that no, there is actually a little bit of strength in the market here for Jasmy, more than any negative price action that we can anticipate. Now, if this whole thing goes totally wrong, I'm going to be the dumbest person on planet Earth. And that's okay, because I'm putting my money where my mouth is. If I'm wrong, it's easy. I'm just going to get punished, right? Totally. So that's pretty much it. I want to thank you so much for watching the video. If you could, please delicately tap the like button, share the video with your friends and family, and then I'll see you on the next one. Take good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.